Hi, everyone. We are back with this week's interview. And on the call, we've got Rebecca Horeth. Rebecca, how are you doing after our rousing game of Pokemon?
I'm doing good. A little woozy. That camera action is all over the place, and I'm gonna blame the Hoppips, but what do
The
you do?
perfectly good Pokemon to blame. They're strange little guys. Excellent. Well, we're going to talk to you a little bit about your research, your interests in folklore, stuff like that. We'll get a lot into some of the dance traditions that you both study and are a participant in. But first, before we get into your interview, Daisy has been hosting for so many weeks in a row, and it is finally their turn to co-host and do this part of the interview. Daisy.
Yes. I was gonna say I've been preparing, but that would be a lie, and I would never lie to you all. So I'm just going to be inspired by the objects that are around me
Oh
to
my
do this.
God, you're doing the I love lamp shit.
Kind of. I noticed that next to me is my little adorable, very befitting. It's like a sketch pad that has Quagsire and Clodsire on it, and it says Muddy Buddies, and it inspired me to think about the buddies that we have here on Folkwise. And that we've been playing Pokemon Violet, obviously, with our Clodsire tank. But just like our team would be nothing without all of the teams, Folkwise, you might see Dom and Daisy. You might see Folkwise, the Pokemon trainer with Clodsire, and think that's it. No, you'd be wrong. There's a whole other. Dom is hating this metaphor.
No, I like this one.
Oh, okay, cool. Cool, because obviously as you play Pokemon Violet, it is very clear that there's not just the trainer and a singular Pokemon, but in fact a whole team of Pokemon, including other players that make up the show. So much like Pokemon on Folkwise, you might see Dom and Daisy. You might think that we're the only ones who do this thing. We're the ones behind it all, and that's not true. That is patently false. We have a team of people who we lovingly and affectionately call our sleuths. If you have a sleuth emote in the chat, feel free to drop it now if you know what to do. But if you hear a question, Rebecca, chat, that you think is funny, that you like, we laugh together, whatever it is, don't think Dom and Daisy, think the sleuthing team of Folkwise, because they're the best. I'm just gonna leave it at that.
And I already see chat dropping the sleuth emote
Yes.
in chat. Thank you, chat. Thank you, sleuths. And if you're new here, you don't have a subscription, $5 to get sleuths and ladders and garlic and all the other fun stuff we do. But now that plug is aside, it's time to finally interview Rebecca. Rebecca, you still ready?
Still ready.
Let's get into this. Okay, so first question we got for you. What can a close study of Transylvanian Saxon dance traditions tell us about nostalgia?
Ooh. Um, hmm. Well, I think so. I'm gonna just speak from having just finished this chapter of my thesis. And by
What?
that I mean it's completely out of my brain. So we're gonna,
Sleuths,
if you
you
know what
have
that's
weird
like.
timing.
Yeah. Last week would have been better. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I mean, when we're looking at a dance as being nostalgic, part of the idea with Transylvanian Saxon folk dance, but really any Transylvanian Saxon traditions that we're still doing in Canada, the nostalgic piece comes into this idea of that we're yearning for something that was in the old country. So, like, for example, my grandparents were born in Transylvania, grew up there, and came to Canada as oh gosh. Well, my grandma was probably, I think, 13, 14, and my grandpa was 18. So, sort of having those like young adult experiences in the old country that I don't have direct experience with. So when I'm doing these traditions today, how does the nostalgia play in it for me? And in my research, I'm looking at sort of this idea of when that first generation came over and immigrated to Canada, that they had this nostalgia for what they experienced as kids, that they were saying, we're not going to experience that in the old country anymore. We need to pass on that tradition. This is sort of where the folklore takes place and the creativity in immigrant folklore. And so, yeah, that nostalgia I'm seeing is sort of something that we've learned and passed on, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Can I jump in with a minor follow-up?
Yes, please.
Yes.
Daisy,
Okay.
I knew you had a minor
It's like-
follow-up on deck.
I hadn't thought about this until you just said it right now, but how nostalgia relates to childhood. And I feel like there could be a very fruitful, I mean, it makes sense. Not only are you remembering a kind of fictive past or ancestry or country or whatever it is, you're also remembering yourself in a moment, at least in the specific case that you described with grandparents who are immigrating, right? Like they're not just remembering what being part of community was, they're remembering what it was like to be a child.
It's not just the
which is
community
totally
past,
different.
but it's the personal past.
Yeah. Right. And and many, nostalgia for childhood is a huge element. I feel like it's unaddressed sometimes, despite being kind of maybe the elephant in the room. And we talk about nostalgia usually just as this idea that it's about a historical time period, but not necessarily about your body in that time period, I guess is what I'm trying to say. That's such a cool insight to bring to the conversation. I hadn't made the connection before consciously. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the other thing too is we just like you mentioned, we think of nostalgia as this past time. But it's also the way that I'm looking at it, we can also think of it as a past place as well. And so, and then I do something a little crazy, maybe. And
we love that shit here. So tell me.
I basically suggest that I could also be nostalgic for just a different time or a different place that's not necessarily in the past, or that basically that this point of nostalgia can move around. So when I'm looking at our group that I'm part of, and we hear experiences from our parents being in the dance group when they were our age, but that was in Canada that they had that experience. And then we have a sister club that's a little bit bigger. They have a bit bigger membership. They do have some extra activities and traditional events throughout the year than what we do. So again, that's something that we just have this yearning for.
Where's your sister club?
It's in Kitchener-Waterloo.
Oh, got it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Home of the big Oktoberfest.
Exactly.
As someone who did dissertation research at Cincinnati Oktoberfest.
Okay.
Our sister Oktoberfest.
So you're familiar.
Yeah.
Yeah, sister Oktoberfest. So but yeah, so it's just kind of, for me, it's kind of interesting to look at sort of these different points that we're referring to, and that we have this idea of how it was experienced in, when my parents were in their 20s, or when my grandparents were children in Transylvania, or when friends of mine that are in different clubs in Kitchener or in Europe or in the United States, you get the snippets on Instagram or whatever of what they're doing, and you have this thought oh, that would be neat to do here, but we're not doing it here. And so it's just this, nostalgia was sort of the starting point of examining these different points that we refer to when we recreate the tradition in our location.
Daisy, should we just get into this next question? Because I feel like Rebecca's about to answer it whether she knows it or not.
Oh no.
No, good.
I'm good like that.
You've cooed yourself. Exactly. You're good like that.
Yeah, I think it makes sense. Yeah.
Literally, this next thing we asked are, what imagined times and places are created in participating in cultural clubs, such as the German Canadian Club in Saxonia Hall? Wow.
Yeah, just for the sake of the chat, I just want everyone to know that I can't see the questions in front of me.
Oh, no. We have there's some chat questions, but then we also have a separate document that we've curated so nobody can see.
And I've never seen
and then you've never seen them. So yeah, this is
she's just doing this thing. Yeah.
She's just friggin' off the top.
We do have, among some of the folks in my dance group, we do have a joke that Transylvanian Saxons are psychic. So maybe this is just another feather in my hat for that. But I'm totally digressing now. Imagined places. What imagined places are created when we
times and places? Yeah, times and imagined times and places, which you were kind of talking about.
Yeah, so I mean, we did kind of talk about this idea of recreating the the experience in Transylvania as we understand it.
Yeah.
You know, while I was writing this chapter too, part of the sort of overlying thread was how we talk about what is a Transylvanian Saxon, and I actually, you know, I have to think about how to say this. I tell this narrative that we share, this narrative generalization that we share to easily explain it. And then for the sake of my thesis, I have to actually explain the factual history. I can't just say what we all say, right? Darn.
Yeah.
And so like I acknowledge that I'm learning this along with the reader in a way. But sort of the starting point of when that first generation, and the first generation I'm referring to is this cohort of Transylvanian Saxon immigrants to Canada who came in the 50s, that specifically left Transylvania in 44. And that cohort was really the group of Transylvanian Saxons in Canada that came and understood that there was not going to be a Transylvania to go back to. It was the end of the Second World War. They were being evacuated from their villages, and yeah, so they you know, they eventually get to Canada in the 50s, and they're kind of like, so how do we carry on these things that were really valuable part of our everyday life? And so we have, you know, dances that we understand to have been dances that were danced in Transylvania. There's this one dance, it's called the Siebentreat. It translates to the seven step. Yes, it is 7 steps. It's also 8 minutes long. It's very long. And you know, so we do that dance. I was mentioning earlier, there's some dances that we do sort of more participatory, so anyone in the audience can come up and join in this dance. And it's really fun because some folks have learned it one way and our group learns it a different way. And so everyone's on the dance floor, we're like crashing into each other, and, you know, it's just a good time. And so I guess our understanding would be that that's sort of recreating the idea of dancing together in community. But some of the other things have changed over the years, right? Like when my parents, or my dad specifically, was in the dance group, there were rules around, you know, once you're married, you're not in the dance group anymore, because in Transylvania, like that was the youth group, that was the way to meet people your age and mingle. And once you were, you know, fully an adult in the eyes of the community, then you shouldn't be like playing around in the dance group anymore. We don't do that anymore. And so some of the things have changed over the years, but I think in terms of like what we're imagining, it's just really bringing back this sense of community, this sense of traditions being passed on, and it's very like the imagery of it is very interesting, because when we perform, we've got our Transylvanian Saxon folk costumes on, and so it looks like sort of what you might imagine if you were in, you know, 1930s, 1940s Transylvania on a special occasion, or like at a wedding sort of thing.
If I'm picturing if there was like a Transylvania section of Epcot.
Yeah. Yeah, there'd be that. There'd be cabbage rolls probably,
Oh,
and
hell yes.
only at the special occasions. Lots of polenta. So
Okay,
yeah.
okay. We are cousins after all.
Yeah. So yeah, it's like either tomato Europe or potato Europe, but I think we're potato Europe. So, and have you heard of that?
Yeah, I've heard potato Europe,
Yeah, okay.
tomato Europe. I've heard of olive
Yeah.
oil Europe, mayo Europe.
Oh,
I
okay.
also like.
What's the?
I also love call a plumber Europe, or I'll fix your sink Europe.
Oh my god, that's funny. I
That's
think there's
great.
another
Yeah.
one too. I feel like there's like tomato, potato, and then there was another one.
Vodka wine.
Oh,
Or like spirits wine.
that'd
Yeah.
be a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's potato.
I also feel like
Exactly.
I don't know how many people follow this theory, but I personally have a theory about cabbage Europe, which is just, and hear me out, because I have a really good friend of mine who's Czech, but like born in Canada, and he insists that oh gosh, I'm gonna butcher the name now. It's Czechia or Czechia. I'm not sure. Czechia.
Czechia,
Yeah.
And so he insists that Czechia is Central or Western Europe. And I insist that it's Eastern Europe, and it's sort of this like divide. And my theory is that if cabbage is prominent in your food, then you're Eastern Europe.
Mm.
But I think that's like just me. I have to own that. I don't know if anybody
That's interesting.
who subscribes to that. And I know that there is like some
It's-
big debates over what's considered West, Central, and Eastern Europe.
What's Western Europe's version of cabbage? Is it basil?
My theory doesn't go that far.
Okay,
It's not well developed. It's just like
Yeah,
it's
like,
the cabbage is the
yeah.
border. Like
That
if,
is true.
if cabbage is not prominent, then I don't know.
Really, what was the 30 Years' War other than every country in Europe fighting over the cabbage line?
I mean, kind of.
Well, right, and I guess I should have been there because I could have cleaned it up.
Yeah,
pretty
you
quick.
could have.
You
I
should
know
have been
what
at
the
the
war.
Peace of Prague.
The Cabbage Manifesto. Like, I know what this is about. I have the real answer. Oh, that's funny.
Rebecca, so you are guest curating an exhibit at the museum. Before I ask the question, can you tell Chad a little bit about what this exhibit is?
Yeah, so I'm on the board of directors of our local museum, the Elmer Malahide Museum and Archives. And it's a local community museum. And every year we put on a full year exhibit, well, from March to, I think it's mid-November or December. I should probably know that one. And then we're in the process, you might have seen, of moving our location. We're sort of on the edge of town, and we're moving to a downtown location, and we're fundraising to do some renovations and make the building museum quality. And while we're doing the fundraising, we do pop-up exhibits during the year. So our main exhibit this year is 1920s fashion, and sort of in connection with that, and our first pop-up exhibit, which was about Mennonite immigration, so from Canada and then back to Canada. This next pop-up exhibit that I'm guest curating in the summer is going to be about the Transylvanian Saxons first arriving in Canada in Elmer in the 20s, and then I'll talk a little bit about we have this year in 2024, it's 80 years since the evacuation of northern Transylvania, and so I mentioned that was in 44, and that's most of the Transylvanian Saxons in Canada who are still actively engaging in the cultural organizations that we formally have, which are like in Kitchener and in Elmer, Ontario, are kind of stemming from that northern Transylvania group that left in 44. So that's kind of an important year for us in Canada. That's like when our grandparents or parents would have left Transylvania. And so part of the exhibit will talk about sort of that, the layers of what happened leaving in 44, and the in-between, because Canada actually had its borders closed to immigrants who were German-speaking at that time. So sort of talking about the layers related to that. And then we have, as part of the current pop-up exhibit that's going to stay in my exhibit, this basically interactive room for people who are visiting to come and see or to come and share their own family's immigration stories. So that's something that's just, we're kind of trying to collect whatever information is in our town that people want to share. So it's kind of nice to be able to be part of this sort of ongoing pop-up series over the year. And then the last part will just be a way of sort of publicizing some of my research from my thesis, because I did a lot of my research in the community here, just a way for people to be able to see what I've worked with and what I've done. A lot of people who are working with me on the project, of course, will read the sections of the thesis that they're in, and you know, there's a few of them that said they want to read the whole thing, but in our Transylvanian Saxon community, I've had a lot of people come up to me and say, when your thesis is done, I want you to send it to me. And I had to like start an Excel list because I was starting to like lose track of who had said that they wanted to read it or not, which is really nice. But just sort of another way to make it the research a bit more accessible is like through this exhibit. So
yeah, and I guess that's something I want to ask is like, what are some of the choices you had to make when you were designing an exhibition of your own heritage or something that personal, but also making it appeal to the wider public?
yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing is more so the activities that we'll do in connection with the exhibit over the few months that it's going on. So I'm hoping to organize just a lecture about the evacuation with the 80-year history, whether I'm the one giving that lecture or we have a couple other scholars in the Transylvanian Saxon community in Ontario that are a lot more knowledgeable about the evacuation specifically than I am. And then interactive things like I also do a folk dance at school program, so doing a folk dance workshop out of the museum. And yeah, I mean, people I think in our town are familiar with our club because we have a building on the main street. We're also a banquet hall, so people host events out of our building, but there's not so many opportunities for us to showcase more of the material culture. So I'm just excited to be able to show that even in this exhibit that we have going on right now with some of the Mennonite material culture that we have. There's people, so I spend Tuesday afternoons volunteering at this exhibit, and somebody today was talking to me like, oh, I was really interested to see the school records, and you know, my dad had school records from the Netherlands. Like, is that something that you'd want to put on display at the museum? And I was like, that sounds like a great idea. It's not my decision to make. But just, I think having people engage in their heritage in different ways in conversation with the exhibit that we're doing is exciting for me because I was very much, as a younger person, someone who was not interested in spending time at museums. And so I think just this idea of creating this like collaborative or like conversational interaction with museum spaces is something that is good for, especially for like a small community museum.
And speaking of your geez, how did you phrase it? Dance in schools?
Folk dance at school, yeah.
Folk dance at school. Speaking of folk dance at school, question about that. When you're designing that curriculum, how do you balance like teaching to public education expectations versus teaching to pass down traditional knowledge?
Yeah. That's a great question. So I actually have a background in education as well. In Ontario, you have to have a Bachelor of Education, and then you have to have a license, a teaching license from the Ontario College of Teachers. So that's what I went to school for before I came into folklore. I was like very straightforward. I'm going to be a French teacher. And so I have all of my licensing and certification for that. And specifically for elementary school, so kindergarten up to grade 6. And so through that, I've taught in schools, and I've familiarized myself with the Ontario public school curriculum. And while I was actually in schools for part of my practicum, my practice teaching, we had to give like a resume to our associate teachers whose class we would be co-teaching with, and the two teachers I had, they would say, "Oh, you teach, you know, dance? You can dance? Can you teach the dance unit?" And it was really sweet because it was like something that clearly I had an interest in, and you know, it wasn't like I'm just going to give the teacher candidate the math program or something, right? Which I also did teach math, but and then like just through different volunteering experiences I had over the years leading up to going to do my B.Ed, I just sort of started to realize that there were a lot of teachers I was interacting with that were excited to have someone come and teach about dance that wasn't or that was from a different cultural background than what the teacher themselves was from. And so they felt that, I could more appropriately teach about Transylvanian Saxon dance than they could, as an example. One teacher I spoke with while we were actually setting up the program, folk dance at school, said, I usually hire someone to come in from Toronto. That's a 2-hour drive, like 200-kilometer. I cannot translate that to miles distance from here. And so that's a fairly expensive guest to come in and be teaching when they have something in their own backyard. So in terms of relating the dance to the curriculum, I found that came quite easily. In Ontario, we do have a dance curriculum, so that's helpful because some provinces don't have dance curriculums. And then it's basically just looking at, so right now I have lessons developed from kindergarten up to grade 8. It's just looking at the dance sections in those grades and seeing, okay, well, what do the students need to learn and how do I do that with a dance? And then your second part of the question with passing on the traditions. So for us, or for me, I should say, when I'm going into schools, I'm not going in with the goal of I want to pass on a Saxon tradition to these kids. Although one of our goals with the program is that if the kids enjoy the activity at school, we do pass out information that they can come and dance more regularly with our programs out of our club. But we do talk about just the idea of how traditions are passed on. And so I'm not going in and just saying, okay, everyone, let's make a circle and here's step 1, here's step 2. But we play a couple of games. We read a book usually, because in elementary, having some literacy component is always a bonus with the teachers. And then we talk about, what traditions do you have in your daily life? And it's really neat to see how some kids will right away say oh, we always have turkey at Christmas or something, or we put chocolate in our shoes on Easter. I don't think that's something that someone said, but
it could be.
It's a cool one to just make up.
Yeah.
And then what I think is really cool is then some of the kids will start saying things like, well, we play games every Tuesday night with families. Yeah. And then one kid will say, that's not a tradition. And then I'll say, why is it not a tradition? And then the kid will say, oh, because it's not something they do every year. And I said, do you do this every year? Yeah, we do it every year. We do it every week. And so then it's kind of having the kids break down these ideas of what exactly is a tradition. And then I've made up some dance games basically. And so one of them that I really like to play, hopefully you didn't hear her first, but maybe you did, is it's the game telephone. So if you're familiar with telephone, you start with a sentence, you pass it along and it gets jumbled up. So we do dance telephone. So we have the kids split up into teams.
Okay, that sounds like so much fun. I would do that at a party.
Oh yeah,
just do that. That sounds fun.
Yeah. And yeah, so I split them up in teams. I have all of the teams face the back of the room except for the first kid in every line. And the first kid in every line, depending on the age group, they either watch me do a step or they each come up with their own step. And then they have they get one chance to see me do it, and then they have to tap the shoulder of the person behind them and redo the step, and then it gets passed down. And then it's funny too, because you see some kids will just totally throw the step and do something different. And then we talk about how, hey, why did you change the step? Just because you wanted to? That's how traditions change too. So yeah, it's pretty fun. I think the teachers that I've heard back from come away from it pretty excited that it wasn't just your standard I'm going to teach dance, and some kids don't want to dance, but it just kind of we hook them in, we get them moving, running around, and yeah, usually if we have time on the second day, we'll bring some of the material culture from the Saxon stuff that we have, and that's cool too. Kids will our guys dance in riding boots, and so I'll bring a pair of riding boots, and you've got the kids trying to put these massive boots on, and like just, getting some interaction with the material culture of it too. It's not just this like thing to look at the wall, but it's something that like we engage in. We touch the boots, we touch the costumes. Like not everybody might agree with me on this, but like if I wear my costume with the kids, I'm like, yeah, you can touch it and see what it feels like and lift and see how heavy it is. And because for me, like this is something that I wear. It's not something that I just have on display. So just having them be able to interact with the tradition is more important than me actually like saying, are they gonna like teach us dance and pass it on to someone else? That's less important.
Yeah, that was a great answer. That was,
I was like, oh, what a
elite answer.
clearly, your passion lies in betwixt education and folk tradition.
Yeah,
somewhere there. It's very cool.
Yeah.
I could totally see kids too, like going to a museum and seeing stuff, but they don't get to touch the dress. It's behind glass or whatever. Museums traditionally are sort of I don't know, not kids spaces. I know that's changed. I know the museum people are going to be like, shut up, you don't know what you're talking about these days. But like, I still feel like parents like coach their kids to not touch stuff, which is good. Most of the time you shouldn't touch stuff, but it's cool that you give them an opportunity to get a little bit closer to the experience of actually just wearing the dress. It's not that scary. It's not on the wall and I'm wearing art. It's that, but it's also art you can touch because it's just part of life. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, like you bring up that example, it makes me think of, like, I'm very comfortable with if I'm wearing the costume, I'm sort of in the control of the situation. They can't just like go running through the streets with a piece of my costume or whatever.
Right.
The difference being like when we do have people that come into our dance group who didn't grow up in the community, that they've, saw us on Facebook or they saw us at a performance or they're like friends of mine from outside of the club. We do give them like the run through of, this is an important piece of our like cultural heritage and, don't be like running amok. This is the way to like behave respectfully and like don't get it dirty. If you're worried about spilling food, maybe get changed after you eat, like those sorts of things. But in a school setting, it's like pretty contained. So
yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And
very cool.
Rebecca, just to tell you of a side conversation between me and Daisy that happened in like the question doc. I said, it's 200 kilometers, 120 miles, and they looked it up. It is 140. I was close.
Ooh, that's very impressive.
I've done that drive from Detroit to Buffalo through Ontario. Proof.
And I've done the drive on the other side of the lake. And I see a sign in miles per hour, or I see a sign that's like so many miles to X city, and my brain just goes empty. Like I have no idea.
I'm not good at it either.
Translating it, so I'm very impressed.
Well, I googled it. Dom.
No, I was impressed at Dom. Okay, sorry, Daisy.
Yeah, no, good, because like, every time I'm in the same with you, where like I look at a sign and I'm like, because it's not an even ratio. It doesn't feel, I mean maybe it is, but I don't think in 24ths or whatever the fuck it is.
It's not even.
I don't know, it's not like a third or something, or like double, like that would be different.
I did see somewhere, and this has helped me with Fahrenheit for temperature, if you think of Fahrenheit as a percentage, and so like 100% is a lot, so that's like a lot of hot.
And well, I just like subtract 32.
Oh my god! Well, you're like a giga temperature, Chad, for doing that. We can't all do that, Daisy.
Okay, sorry. Okay, sorry.
I think for Fahrenheit, this is not an interview about
anyway,
metric versus standard, but Fahrenheit is the
metric wins.
Is better, except for temperatures. I think Fahrenheit for temperatures, like you said, if it's a percentage, you're like, okay, it's 100% hot. It's not 40 hot, Yeah.
Look, okay, Death Lords is backing me up here.
I will say, if I have to measure things, kilometers so much easier.
Oh yeah, true. Anyway,
you want to get into these funsie questions?
Let's do it.
All right. How heavy is the Miss Saxonia crown, which you wore from 2010 to 2011?
Oh wow. Wow, that's pretty deep. It's pretty heavy because you represent the youth, and I think there's this idea that if you were the Miss Saxonia at any point in your lifetime, that you must remain engaged in the culture forever and ever and ever.
Oh,
Yeah.
that makes a lot of
So
sense. Yeah,
heavy,
I
heavy,
can
heavy.
see that.
Uh,
Yeah, it's pretty heavy. Yeah.
But I think, I mean, like, I obviously am still involved since I was the Miss. I was involved before I was the Miss as well. And I think I
Yeah.
actually, like, at our club, our last Miss was elected into the position or appointed into the position, depending on how you want to look at it, in 2017. So, like,
Oh.
we kind of joke that now it's become this like crazy monarchy, and in order for her to be replaced, we have to behead her. Not
Ooh.
actually, but like, you know, like we're kind of like trying to
Oh.
form a republic here. That role or that position, I think when it started in the 50s was sort of this local tradition of, or maybe it was a small town tradition, I'm not exactly sure, of like having pageants and having like the fair and the Miss Queen of the local county fair and the Miss Pageant Queen of this, that, and the other. And it's, I don't think that personally I hugely miss that position is not necessarily remaining. But yeah, and I think over the years you have people that stayed involved and others that you know, other priorities came into their lives, and that's fine too. They were part of it as a teenager. So yeah, I don't like physically that crown was like pretty light.
That was my next question. But metaphorically.
Yeah.
Metaphorically,
Yeah.
And then like whether you subscribe to the metaphor too, I think is part of it, because I personally, although like I am very involved still myself, I personally like don't subscribe to that philosophy that like just because you were involved at one point means that you have to prioritize and value it like for the rest of your life. I don't think that's a realistic expectation for a teenager. Like let teenagers be teenagers, I guess. But yeah.
The closest thing I can think of is one time I did field work in this little town in Indiana that had a bunch of Italian immigrants who came to work the coal mines, and there was like the grape queen every year that was like a teenager who got crowned, and she got to like make wine with her bare feet. But I believe all of the past grape queens showed up to the Italian festival every year.
Right.
Yeah.
But do they still show up to the Italian
A bunch
festival?
of them showed up, but like she's the only one who gets to take her shoes off and stomp on the grapes, you know?
Right.
Yeah, there was a whole procession of past. I don't think they all showed up, but there was like a whole gallery of past queens. Yeah.
Yeah. So we actually have like this event that's coming up this year. Every 2 years, there's like a youth exchange, which we call the Jugendlager. And it's being hosted in Canada this year.
Mm-hmm.
And this year is actually the, loosely the 50th anniversary, technically 53rd, but I'm like not counting the 3 years of the pandemic when the program didn't run.
Oh, I knew what you were gonna. I knew what those years were gonna be.
But yeah, so it's the 50th anniversary of the first Jugendlager, which was in 1971.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like the same conversation around like, we're trying to host a reunion, and hopefully we get like some past participants who we might not have seen for several years, but just coming to this sense of like, come to the 50th anniversary party of this like youth exchange program that you did. So same idea, you know.
Yeah.
I have this like hope that people will come, but it's not an expectation for me.
I mean,
sure.
Circling back to nostalgia, I mean, in a way, it's you're sort of like cultivating like, hey, a reunion is a sort of nostalgic event, or like, hey, I haven't seen you in a long time, like come to the event so we can catch up again.
Daisy, not to be a classics nerd, but do you know like literally what like nostalgia means in Greek?
No.
I should know this.
Nostos is home, and algia, like fibromyalgia, all those is pain. So it's pain home.
Oh, it's pain home.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
well.
you're right on. You're right on there
yeah.
with the literal meaning in Greek.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Or home pain.
Home.
It's your home pains. It's your home
My
pains.
home
Yeah.
pain.
Yeah.
I have home pain. Yeah, that makes sense.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Next question. So, the Transylvanian Saxons are German-speaking people. And you've studied some German, right?
I have, yes.
Is there a word in German that you wish there was an English equivalent of?
Yeah, easy. Heimat.
Which
What
is...
does that mean? I should know this.
I can't translate. Come
Ah,
on.
damn!
It's
Okay,
I
good.
can't
Good point.
translate.
What?
Yeah,
How do you
Back
spell it?
We've backed ourselves into a corner.
Yeah, so what is Heimat?
Yeah.
So Heimat, like you can translate two ways. It can be homeland. That would be like the direct translation. But also like, and I talk about this in my research as well, like just this feeling of community or belonging maybe, but it's not the feeling of belonging, because that there's a word for that too, which is not Heimat. It's Zugehörigkeit.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like this feeling. I think when we talk about Heimat as a feeling, it's like this, like what you feel when you're doing these like cultural practices together. So in part of my research, one of my friends who's participating said something like, we went to Germany last summer to participate in this Homeland Day festival or like event. It's like a weekend long event. And we brought our costumes with us. We wore costumes. We jumped in with a dance group and we did a few dances with them. And so we were like not only attending, we were also very much participating. We were representing Canada too. I'm the vice president of the Landsmannschaft der Siebenberger Saxon in Canada, so the Alliance of Transylvanian Saxons in Canada. So I was like giving a presentation and being on a panel, and my friend was bringing greetings. So we were like very much in it. And but this is all happening in German, and my friend doesn't speak German, but he said something like, while we were there dancing with everyone in the costume, that really felt like home. That was like the Heimat. And so like that's kind of what I'm getting at, is like you can't translate. You can say I could say Transylvania is the Heimat, but it's like I wasn't born in Transylvania. Like I was born in Canada, and like that is my homeland if we want to get technical. But it's just like this idea, and it, like, to me that comes back to the nostalgia too, right? This like yearning, or this like sense of home.
Pain.
Yeah. That's cool. Interesting.
Daisy, you gotta ask the next one.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
This is important. I specifically have to ask this for reasons we will explain later.
Oh no.
No, it's okay.
It's not suspicious at all.
No. What is Hanklich, and could it be a dessert at a pizza chain?
Oh yeah.
Is it Hanklich? Am I saying
Hanklich.
Hanklich.
Okay.
Yeah. Hanklich. Okay.
So it is. It's made. Do you know what cream of wheat is, or like semolina?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's made with cream of wheat. It's like kind of like a pie, almost. Like it's very flat and dense, and it's sweet. And I've eaten it, I think, like twice in my lifetime. I've eaten it cut like a triangle and cut as a square, like you would have like a brownie size.
Yeah.
Pizza is coming out there.
Well, and this is like the pizza connection. I think the last time I had Hanklich was at the Heimatag in Germany, and it was like you could go to restaurants and things. There's just like German restaurants, but then where you really wanted to go was like the food trucks that were there, and they were making like the Saxon food. And that, so I was having like this sausage. It's like a caseless sausage that we call mici. It's a Romanian sausage with the same word. And so I just had like a stack of mici and a piece of Hanklich. So like I think if you were getting like a slice of pizza and a slice of Hanklich, but like that would be like very carb heavy. So maybe you want to have it like just with your sausage. I don't know.
Sure.
That's fair. We did look this up.
This took over Daisy's brain for a while.
This took over my brain for a second, because people were kind of making it like maybe it could be the base of a dessert, but then also talked about like I don't know. You can get it in a bunch of different ways, but it kind of has that energy where you're trying to feed a lot of people a bunch of carbs, right? Like every community has that. But then Dom was like, it cannot be pizza or dessert pizza, as a firm stance of the needing of a tomato on it to be pizza. But That's Dom's
But
stance.
dessert
That's
pizza.
that's the tomato
Dessert-
Europe answer.
Yes.
For
It is-
Typical.
the
For
full
the-
name,
Typical.
the
Yeah.
full name is Pizza Pomodoro.
yeah.
I've never heard that.
That's what
Yeah, I've
pizza's
never
called in
heard
Italy.
that.
It's tomato pie. It's Pizza Pomodoro.
Yeah.
We've got the last kind of sequence of funsies. We might have some chat questions, and then we're gonna
Yeah.
get to your game. But
Let's do it.
moving confidently into the end of this, you've been invited to Tracktenball. What are you wearing?
Oh, well, I'm wearing the tract. Tractenball, and so Tracten or tract is our what we call our folk costume. Tractenball is like a ball of costumes, a costume ball. Yeah, this is an event I grew up going to since I was a very, very little kid. My grandma had like those like life-size dolls that like stare into your soul.
Yep.
Yes.
Well, my grandma had one of those where she like made a costume for it, so I could wear that as like a 2-3-year-old.
Oh.
Now I have an adult-sized one, and the creepy dolls are not in my house anymore.
Oh.
But it's okay. And yeah, so actually interesting, like I say we wear the tract. So tract is just a German word for like costume or folk costume.
Mhm.
Technically the outfit that we wear is the fest tract. So this is like the costume of Transylvania that you would wear on like high holidays or for your confirmation for your wedding. So this is like the creme de la creme of the costume. It's not like your everyday wear. But this is like what most people have, because if you pictured sort of that moment of you have a very short period of time to pack up your prized possessions because you're evacuating from your village, like these were the things that people were taking with them. These are the things that people were making when they got to Canada so that they could, like, this is what sort of they selected as the folklore to continue when they got to Canada. That was like important, right? The word for like, we talked about Oktoberfest and the outfits that you see at Oktoberfest. Those are technically called tract, and Trachten is the plural as well. But it's interesting, like in our club, we would call that just the dirndl and lederhosen, like specifically what the costumes are. Because for us, in our like Saxon community, when we say tract, we mean that like velvet, like I'm wearing a full velvet, like a heavy, long below the knee skirt. It's heavily embroidered ribbons. I've got 2-3 slips underneath. I've got a heavy pleated cotton apron, also embroidered, big billowing sleeves. And I'm sweating my face off because we have a lot of events in the summertime and it's like 40 degrees Celsius.
Or 100.
Yeah.
Or 100.
Yeah.
And you kind of, the costumes that I have that fit me are specifically the fast track from the winter. There's also summer costumes, but like in my family, we didn't have, my grandma didn't have a summer costume for us. And so when I go to events in the summer, like we all say it's raining on the dance floor because we're just sweating so much, just like in so many layers. But that's part of it. That's part of the fun.
So you said you go to those in the summer. I'm trying to piece this together because you've also said you've done that drive on the other side of Lake Erie.
Yes.
So I think if the sleuths have done their work, this last question is going to make sense.
Okay.
And this is as a very concerned Ohioan, away from my homeland, all the way down south. Can you please say something nice about Youngstown, Ohio?
Oh no! I love my friends in Youngstown.
Ohioans,
But yes,
beat up on
Just so you
Youngstown.
know.
It's the Ohioans' least favorite city in Ohio. Can you
It
please
is where
tell?
quite a bit of crime happens of the extravagant kind, not just like the regular kind.
It's
like,
by the
there's
way,
a lot there.
yeah, it's where Death Loris and Chat's where her mom is from. It's my people's fault because it's the halfway
so
it's the halfway
yeah, I
point
love
between
Youngstown.
New York and Chicago, so it was like Al Capone's safe house.
Yeah.
But say
Very-
something nice about Youngstown, Ohio's most
I'm-
underrated city.
Yeah, I feel so. I actually have two really good friends in Youngstown as a
Aw.
result of this Saxon community. And yeah, when's the last time I was in Youngstown? We were there in 2022 because there was supposed to be one of these. So every other year we have a Haimataga Homeland Day event, and it's either in Canada or in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was supposed to be that year in the United States, but like with COVID and planning and things, they postponed it another year. But the Youngstown Club decided that they still wanted to have a get together because things were open and it was an outdoor event and it was the summer and numbers were low. And so we went there and yeah, they have a really beautiful club. They have actually I think they operate like a restaurant out of it too. So
Oh,
like
cool.
on I want to say like Friday nights you can like go and eat German food there.
Hell
They
yeah.
have a really cool little like cultural display room that you can sort of see costumes and different artifacts and things, which has been the inspiration for I'm working on something like that at our club as well.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
that's kind of cool. And the hotel that we stayed at was not creepy, so that was a good thing, I think. And we went to a really good Mexican restaurant on Friday night for suppers, and we had these like massive margaritas. So I mean,
Oh, good.
Youngstown has got it going on. If
Hell
you're
yeah.
just doing Saxon things, I cannot
Hell yeah.
speak about any other things. That's all I did.
Daisy mentioned extravagant crime because that is where someone stole an armored bank car, like full of money
Yeah.
that was being deposited and like drove it like 3 states over before they got caught. But
Oh, yeah. I
Wild
wouldn't know
stuff,
about
yeah.
that.
yeah,
Some
that's
wild stuff.
some wild stuff happens in Youngstown on the news, but usually it's just
Yeah.
great food and
Usually it's fine.
one of the most fun weddings I ever went to. Thank you, Brooke and Ryan. Chat says
Yeah.
Uptown Pizza. The
I'll keep that in mind.
in Youngstown, yeah. And Daisy. This is like season 2 of Folkwise Lore, but is that where Pat Jarrett's story starts about the Slovenian chicken place?
Oh, I'm so sure it is.
Look up Pat
I'm
Jarrett's
so
interview
sure it
about his
is.
quest to get
Yes, my
Slovenian
quest.
chicken. Yeah.
Guys are really trying to get Slovenian chicken.
Yeah.
That's so funny. Yeah.
Do we have a chat question to ask, or should we get the game ready?
I think we have one good chat
Do
question
that one,
to
yeah. Ask that, Daisy.
Okay, so from Death Lorist in chat, do you have a color that you all associate with childhood when being nostalgic? Like when you're thinking about your childhood. They did also say, I'll make a point that they said, this is a weird question to ask, and I recognize this. So
Is this like just me in general or like specific to
I think it was
Saxon
maybe
things?
I think it was maybe
you-
to us, but also
the
like
3
as
of
an
us?
individual.
Yeah.
As an individual,
I think
it
that
was
y'all
like,
was the 3 of
okay.
us individually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
I know my color right away.
Yeah, I think if I just went with like word association, I would say green.
Green?
Yeah.
My
I
go
yeah,
Days.
go ahead. I was
Oh,
thinking
it's
like
field work.
Could be.
I was thinking like a light blue. It reminds me of like the sky, or like a hazy blue. Like reminds me of the
Mm.
sky, like when I was a kid, a little bit.
And mine is teal, and it is that shade of teal that like the Charlotte Hornets basketball jerseys were in the 90s, and
Oh my
also
gosh.
those particular paper cups that
The
were teal and
cups.
purple.
I knew you were gonna say the cups. Yeah,
Yep.
the like the
Oh,
swoosh,
yeah, that teal.
spray
Yep.
paint cup or whatever.
That shade
Yes.
of teal reminds me of being a kid in the mid 90s. Yeah.
Mm.
Death Laura says mine's sunshiny yellow.
Oh, very
Mm.
good.
Yeah.
A little
Yeah.
sepia, yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
I find
Wow.
it interesting, Daisy, that you said hazy because it just made me think of all the smog advisories we used to get when I was a kid.
You know, I'm from LA, so there might be something to that, honestly. Could be
Yeah.
I was like
Yeah.
going green, like the luscious green, like running through the grass bare feet.
Oh yeah, that
green.
wasn't a thing for me.
Oh yeah, and mine was the luscious, disposable, like middle class
Favorite.
chintz. Yeah.
Blue maybe is also because like I grew up next to the beach, so it's also like the water and the sky. I feel like it's
We'll
just
go
like
with that,
blocks
Okay,
of
yeah,
that.
we'll go with that.
But the haze
We'll go
is
with
They're,
that.
they're
definitely
bragging. They're bragging.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, the haze
I
is
grew up
for a
by a
reason.
beach, but it got like algae blooms and you couldn't swim in
Yeah.
it because it was Lake Erie.
Yes, nasty. Yeah, it's like nasty time. Yeah. Well, we have one final thing to do with you, and that's play a game. And this is
Yes.
kind of like a new invention or a recent invention on Folkwise.
It's a
And
season
this
4 exclusive.
It's a season 4 exclusive. And if the reason earlier we were talking about it, you kind of being a guinea pig for it, is that we're actually gonna, since Dom is hosting, we've only done this when I've been hosting on my computer. And so it's sort of a technical thing or technological thing, but Dom is going to share screen to you to something that I am going to manually interact with.
Yes.
Okay.
But you'll see what it is in a minute when we get it shared. And that would be a starter pack meme. Do you know what a starter pack meme is? Or have you heard of starter pack memes?
I haven't, but like I would just guess we're like picking things that you need for something.
Yeah, basically, yeah. So if you click watch stream, if you haven't already, we have curated for you a sort of a meme, basically, and we would like for you to help us craft a German Transylvanian Saxon Club starter pack meme.
Oh no.
Okay, are you
All
seeing
right.
this? Are you seeing this?
Yeah,
You seen this? You heard about this?
I am.
Okay, so a starter pack meme is something that, just kind of like you described earlier, is used to sort of curate an assemblage of items that you would use if you were going to enter into this space, this community, this concept, whatever, that you would need to sort of pass in that group, or sort of like use at your hand, or sort of stereotypes about what the community is about, the things you got to know,
or archetypes.
Archetypes about these groups, things that you sort of show up to with. So we've given some prompts here. You do not need to do all of them. You can choose everything. I can give you some here's some examples that we've had from the past.
I have a
too,
quote for you already for sure.
Oh my god.
Oh, perfect. Okay, well, we can get into it.
Right
Let's
into it.
then.
Yeah.
Also, you can change the font and the background color, like all of this I can help change. So what's the quote?
The quote is "That's different."
Oh, okay.
Explain that.
Yeah.
Like this.
Yeah,
or is
it's
there any
actually
punctuation?
the actual. I don't know how you would like. Maybe you have to italicize it or something. But it's actually "That's different."
Oh, okay.
The,
So
like little
different?
Saxon accent. That's
Yeah.
different. Yeah. So that's
That's
gotta be
cute.
that one.
Cute. Okay. We can change anything about this. You can just name something and I'll bring it up and add it to here.
Oh, okay. Well, I feel like we need like some red and blue going on because these are the
Okay.
colors.
Yeah.
All right.
All
right.
I don't,
Let's see.
Do I don't have a crest. All my material
Let me
culture is
see.
in the other room.
It's all
What do we?
being
Yeah. What do we?
exhibited.
Yeah. What do we kind of red and? Is this too like? Is that too edgy?
Like, oh yeah, that's great.
Is that good?
White.
I think it's fine.
White font?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
okay.
it's
Yeah.
yellow
really
font?
like fire truck red and like
Oh, you
crayon
kind of
blue.
nailed it.
I think it's
Oh,
good.
cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's close. Okay. Something
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, we can
Um,
change the font color as we want or whatever too.
So are we doing like pictures for some
Yeah,
of these?
Daisy.
Yeah, so
Daisy can add
here's-
pictures in. Yeah.
Dom, if you click the side, you should be able to see all of them. So, for example, the last one that we did was
Click
with
the side where here.
that little carrot. Yeah, that.
Ah. Oh,
So this
yes.
is the last one we did,
Okay.
and this was Utah Winter Starter Pack, and we did it with Dr. Lisa Gabbard.
That's amazing.
And so we have everything from like images, yes, and then this one was with Kimmy Eisel, Southwest Folklife Starter Pack. And so these are some examples of, it's basically image focused with the exception of like quote, but also very interpretive. So
Yeah.
the idea is just to give you some prompts plus whatever else you kind of want to add into it.
Yeah. Well, like, I'm thinking. I'm trying to think of what I could use here. Album art. I feel like I want to do something with a brass band.
Ooh, okay, I got you.
Because that's like kind of big. Or an accordion would also work.
Hell yeah.
But I feel like a brass band is more like album art-esque.
Yeah, let me see. How about
I think
something, I don't know, something like this.
they'll just drag it in. Yeah.
Yeah, something
Yeah.
like that. Or
I
what,
think
what should I
like
type in?
like bigger,
Yeah, let me see.
like, or not. I didn't mean like the picture being bigger. I mean
Yeah.
like the band.
More,
being
yeah,
bigger.
Yeah.
larger band.
Yeah. Oh, okay, here we go. What if okay, I don't know. Some of these I don't know. I typed in like German big brass band. I wonder if that will help. It might lead us away.
Yeah.
Something like this is more.
Oh yeah, that looks a little closer to.
It's a little closer. Okay.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. These are all like the
All right, and then I
Adobe.
can, like-
I was getting. I
licensed
think I was getting
photos.
thrown off by the woman in like the costume.
Mhm.
Oh, sure. Yeah,
And I
yeah.
was like, that's not. I don't know. It wasn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't the vibe.
Yeah. This is closer to the
Didn't
vibe.
pass the vibe check. Yeah.
This is we're back to Cabbage Europe here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Drink is so I'm trying to think of like search terms that you can use in so we call it poly. It's like a liqueur, and they have it in Hungary. It's called palinka.
Mm.
Palinka, and that might bring something up. But it's basically like a plum liqueur that's
Oh yeah.
clear.
I've actually had this before.
So have I, yeah. Well, I've had the Hungarian one, yeah.
What about
Yeah.
like,
It's like I would probably say it's the same or very close, because like northern Transylvania, where my grandparents are from, was part of Hungary for a long time as well. Of
course.
So there's a lot of
So-
crossover.
It's funny, there's the images that are on like Adobe are like this. there's
I think that's
also like here, this might be better because this one has
Ooh,
like
it's got the plums.
actual
Yeah.
yeah, it's like
Okay.
Yeah.
And we'll organize these as we go
Now
too.
they're
So
cooking.
we can we can move stuff around. You know, they don't have to all be in this place. Yeah, drink or snack or anything like that.
Yeah, snack.
Or dish.
Or snack, sorry. Yeah, or dish or something.
Daisy's just
Yeah.
like weird little guy coded, so all of their meals are just, oh, I'm gonna have a little snack.
snack.
Yeah.
They're all little
Yeah.
snacks, yeah.
That's fine. That was my dinner tonight, was just like girl dinner for myself.
Yeah.
So
Love that. Love that.
yeah. Okay. But snack, I think we need to go back to the polenta things, because like we call it palookas or mamalika.
Mamalika, yeah.
And yeah, so but it's like it's not shaped. It's like in a bowl. And 'cause I
Yup.
know like some polenta is like in a log and you slice
Yeah.
it, but
You tell me like this?
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think if there's one that didn't have anything
that?
on it, would be
There we
that's
go.
better.
Something like that. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, because
I'm
we're
also
not putting
gonna
tomatoes. There's no tomatoes. No.
It's not
yeah,
tomato
no,
Europe.
I get it. It's not tomato Europe.
Yeah.
It's not tomato
We
Europe.
don't have
However,
tomatoes.
The one time I did eat like polenta with tomatoes, with like tomato
That
sauce
does
on
sound
it.
really good, actually.
I ate that around folklorist Brandon Barker, classic
Oh my
Tennessee boy, and he went, "Oh, what type of grits are those?"
Oh my god,
Oh.
yeah, he would. Let's
I
see if I
have
can
this book. It's a cookbook by Irina Georgescu called Carpathia,
hmm
and it's recipes from Romania and Transylvania, and
put them on top of the
from the
board.
like Carpathian mountain range,
Yep.
basically.
Yep.
And
Where my old
she
roommate did
does
his
these-
dissertation. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So she does these dumplings that, like, I've had these similar dumplings made out of cream of wheat, but she does them with cornmeal, and they're so good. And, like, it's
Nice.
essentially the same thing, but yeah,
That's pretty good.
yeah,
Yeah, if we could dumpling polenta, that sounds amazing.
yeah. Basically, yeah, yeah.
Um these are some other features that we have yet
so-
to address.
Well, I guess on that note, like mountains, because the Carpathian.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, I got that. Yeah.
You get all Transcarpathian with us here.
Yeah.
He was in the Zakarpathia region of western Ukraine. That's where he did his
Okay. Yep.
his
cool.
research. Yeah.
Now, I did type in Carpathian Mountains, and I can't verify if this image is of the Carpathian Mountains, but
Oh, I know what you could, if you typed in
I could
the Transylvanian Highway.
Oh.
That will bring something
spell
up
that?
for sure. Transfagaran.
It just, yeah, as long as it's close enough, it'll probably.
And it should be this like
Oh.
spindly looking road.
I got you. I'll find it on Google. It'll be okay. Sure that there's an image of this. Oh yeah. This is
they found
very,
it. Oh, I can
It's a
tell.
wiggly ass road.
Yeah.
Check this out.
That's like the road.
Okay, it's kind of small, but
Yo.
look how wiggly that is.
Yeah, that's the road.
Okay. So we'll figure out how to do this. I'll send it back. Oh, that's
Oh,
not
maybe
bad.
they should be standing
Something
on
like
it.
this.
I feel like
Yeah,
book
oh, yeah.
cover. I don't know how
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
gonna do this, but I'm gonna grab this book that I have because
Okay.
we're gonna have to get creative because it's not gonna be on the internet.
Okay.
Hang on.
All right. Oh my god! If you
Get
send
a screenshot.
you DM me a photo right now. Like, this is very possible.
I have like the full Saxon
That's
library
awesome.
behind me. So I don't know. Maybe you can like screenshot from my camera, but like this is the book.
Oh. There's no cover you think I could find. Let me see if I can just.
Not like an image you can find on the internet.
There's no.
Get my fingers out of here.
Hold on.
Oh, you know what? I can just like make your camera the biggest asset on the stream, and then someone can screenshot it.
What is it? Yeah. Well.
Like I don't know.
Okay. I don't have the. Okay. I don't know if the screenshot happened. If it does.
Oh no.
Somebody
I'll
screenshot
Well,
it. Yeah.
hang on.
I was trying to.
Chat,
Yeah, I was just
screenshot
Googling
that.
it just to make sure that it wasn't like randomly on there. I can screenshot it. Give me 1 second.
Okay.
I would be very surprised if it comes up on Google.
I got you. It did not,
Okay.
but we're gonna get a little creative with this.
This is the most
All right, I
advanced
got
we've
you.
got.
This is yeah, full on guinea pig mode.
Can I make her
We're
small again?
getting very
Yeah. You're good. You're good.
Oh, I went too small.
I got it.
You're back.
Okay.
Yeah, because
Me?
this is like
It's gonna take a second.
Yeah, what is
the
that
book.
book?
Yeah, what is
So
this?
this was done in 2016. It's just basically about the history of Transylvanian Saxons in Canada and our activities up to 2016.
Oh, man.
Oh my God, Daisy!
amazing.
You nailed it.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
But I think it's like really important because it's in English, and like part of the issue, like you mentioned earlier, that I
Yeah.
learned some German. Like for me to be able to learn about my heritage in 2009 when I was like starting to get interested,
Yeah.
like I had to learn German because most of the books on the shelf are in German.
Oh my
Like,
gosh.
and they're
yeah.
books I've acquired over
Yeah.
the years, but like the reality is like most of us don't speak German anymore in Canada, and so especially
Yeah.
like the younger generations like myself, and so like this is like pretty cool because it's in English. And also so there's like a Transylvanian Saxon library in Germany, and when you search that library's catalog with the word Canada, there's like 4 books. And this is one of them, and like I have the other 3, and there's only one other one that's in English, and it was published in 1982. So like this is like kind of cool to have. A lot of people around here will
Yeah.
have this book because it's like how it's
Yeah.
accessible, right? It's in English.
That is
Oh my
really cool.
gosh. The
Here you go.
poly pouring into the highway is just like
They're fucking genius
I'm
with
just,
this.
I'm
I
just
swear.
finessing it. Okay, I'm just finessing it right now.
and just like the band serenading the Mamaliga. It's
Yeah.
beautiful. It's beautiful. Wow.
We got landscape environment,
that.
celebrity
Yeah.
inspo. Sometimes that's on. So, we didn't do fit check. I deleted fit
Fit
check.
check. I
Oh,
think
yeah.
that's
I do.
very important.
Shocked. Should I do tracked?
Yeah, I mean, like,
Or
what would
it
you?
could be
What would they
anything.
have
It
to
could be
search?
well,
Tracked or dirndl
what would
or
you?
what?
you're
Yeah.
gonna have to search. Can I type it somewhere?
Type it in
Yeah,
chat.
you can.
Can you type it in
Or
chat?
in
Okay.
or in stream mods.
Oh no, I'm in the chat. Oh, hang on, I had to agree to the rules. Whoops.
Oh yeah, you.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. That's all right.
first time chatter. Somebody buy
You
her
can
a
try
sub.
that, or you can go
Oh, yeah.
on.
Okay.
I think my Instagram account. I might have some pictures that you can.
Okay.
Just
What's
make.
your
try this
what's your handle
first.
mean?
Or yeah.
My handle is just like Transylvania girl.
Ah.
But it's also a song. There's a song called Zimberger Mädel, and it's really nice. And I can't sing the words to it because I don't remember them half the time, even while the song's playing, and it's in German.
Yeah.
But it's just like it
Nice.
has like a nice tune to it.
Which
Is nothing coming up? Did I?
No, stuff is definitely coming up, and I'm just trying not to like.
Oh, which one?
I'm just trying not to like take somebody's like personal photo.
Yeah, this is what. Here, hang on. I think if you go to
Oh.
my Instagram account, is a better
Yeah.
idea.
Okay,
'Cause
they
then we'll just
literally
get a
bought
picture.
someone in chat literally bought
Oh my
you a
God.
sub.
Yeah.
Enjoy your subscription to Folkwise Burger Mädel.
Okay, here we go. Here,
What's
yeah.
this?
I'll just grab one of these. Oh yeah, so you can like Oh here, should I just choose a picture from the what will be the museum display? Or do you want me to choose a picture like with you in it?
Yeah, I think if you just take like if you're on my Instagram page,
Yeah.
the like third picture is me dancing with my cousin.
Oh,
So
that'll
I
be
think
Perfect.
that's fine.
Perfect. That's
That-
perfect. I got you.
And also, if it's you, it also
Yeah.
doubles as celebrity.
But
That's-
also,
I think
like
that
now,
too.
now I'm like I haven't posted on this account in a very long time.
Oh no, you're fine.
I'm also scrolling, and we have like these T-shirts too, which is like going to be another chapter in my thesis about like how we have all these different like T-shirts with the Saxon motifs on it, and I'm gonna call it a folk costume, and I'm going to ruffle some feathers maybe with that idea.
Mm.
Oh
but
well, let me.
like,
I'll.
let's
Okay.
just say there's some people who will say that's different.
All right, I am going to make this is going to be the most
Actually,
like
there's
TikTok
also
ever.
there's
Okay.
like basically anything that you think would be useful around here.
Okay. I think
you
the
could-
T-shirt is a great idea. Here, let me see how far down is it
It's like the second or third row, I think. Third row.
from the top.
Yep.
Okay. Oh, I see the one that you're wearing. Oh, oh my God, it's so cute. Okay. I'm gonna put this on here. I'm gonna figure this out. Okay, everybody, just just wait a moment. This is so
No
cute.
pressure.
Is there a celebrity inspo while they're doing that?
Yeah, I'm like trying to decide what I want to use for that. Because I'm trying to think of like a celebrity.
Aw.
That's pretty
There we
cute.
are. Oh, that's cool. That's
I am gonna
nifty.
like.
Somebody's extra hand is there.
Sorry, I'm erasing this person.
Someone's like extra torso. Yeah.
I'll leave that. That's
Oh
fine.
yeah.
That seems okay.
This is how it goes. That's that actually, and
Please
that
take
picture's
please
in
take
Youngstown.
The severed head off.
Okay.
That
Oh,
picture's
I
in
didn't see.
Youngstown.
Yeah, I will.
That's Youngstown?
That's Youngstown.
Oh hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Let's go Youngstown. Okay.
Let's go Penguins. University
Our
of Youngstown.
our
Penguins.
Youngstonians.
Yeah.
Do you recognize? No, I'm just kidding. Wow.
I think that's pretty cute. Okay, this mystery head we don't need to.
I feel like for celebrity inspo, I'm just gonna go with, because this was like big in Saxon news this week.
Okay.
So
I
there's
love being
this,
updated on Saxon news.
Yeah,
It's pretty cool.
like
Okay.
you didn't know what you're missing.
Yeah.
Apparently missing a lot. I'm glad that we're doing this.
So there's this singer. He's like a German, like I don't even know what kind of music, how to describe it. I think it's like Schlager, so it's like kind of this like type of music that you'd hear at Oktoberfest,
Yeah.
but also like he's in his 70s, so it's like the type of music you would have heard at Oktoberfest like 20 or 30 years ago. But he's like a big celebrity in Germany, and he is Transylvanian Saxon. And the big news this week is that he's going to be performing at this big event in Romania this summer called Saxon-Treffen, which is like the great meeting of the Saxons.
Yeah.
It doesn't translate very well. And so I'm going to that. I'm very excited because I've never been to Transylvania myself.
Oh yeah.
And,
that'd be
he's going to
cool.
be singing there. And apparently, I didn't realize this. This is the first time that he's had a concert in Transylvania. So
that's
it's
awesome.
exciting for him. It's exciting for us.
Yeah.
It's probably like a little less relevant to the Transylvanian Saxon community in Canada, but it's like it's the first thing that's coming to my head if we do like word association because it's been in the news this week.
That's very fair.
But his name is Peter Maffey, so you can probably find him on Google.
Okay, Peter Maffey.
Daisy, I gave that thing a little bit of an outline. I hope that's cool.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do you want to like change the font, like style or color at all?
Well, I feel like we could. I think the white is good because like where it is, but maybe outline it in black, and then like font. I feel like maybe something more scripty.
Yeah.
Are you talking about this guy? I just want to make sure that this is the right guy. This guy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's
All right.
Yeah,
All right.
that's
I
him.
have a.
Put it. Tuck him in the
an
corner
idea.
of the polenta.
Actually, in the
Oh, I was
Oh,
gonna do like
Mamaliga,
this.
sorry.
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, you
that's
like that? I
perfect.
was
Just
thinking like
back
this
there.
behind the alcohol.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
like
that's
a little.
beautiful.
Don't worry, I can like adjust this a little so it's a little less like. This is pretty funny. Okay,
Wow.
what do you think?
And I
is there
feel
fun?
like
There's like
yeah.
a.
Okay, so I feel like that's different should be like a script
Yeah.
almost.
Yeah.
Okay, Dom, if you can reveal what's offered by clicking on that, and then on the left side of the screen, there's like you can either do recommended font, which actually you can kind of visually just see it right away, or you can look at
Oh, that one. I think that one's fine. That third one there.
what's that
Yeah.
called? Oh yeah, that's nice,
Adler-
nice.
Yeah.
Adlery.
And then I should just say because I'm like realizing it's a German and a Transylvanian Saxon club, so we should probably throw like a pretzel and a Bierstein in.
Okay.
Just to like represent.
Got you.
Because I've like just only been doing Saxon things.
You can also just say Saxon.
I can also just say Transylvanian Saxon Club.
Okay, let's do
like
that.
it doesn't need to. Yeah.
Oh, and I think that's spaced better. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little
Yeah.
space better, and I can do like this.
And then we could do like I'm thinking of like impact or like something bold.
Oh my god! Okay.
We should get the yellow. Well, though we have the yellow in the polenta.
Something bold. Yeah, that's true. How about like? Ooh, that looks kind of cool.
Ooh.
And then if I bring that to the front, and then what do we think?
This is so much
what?
fun.
Yeah, this is really fun. What do you think? Like, I made it the polenta. I literally just like
pulled the color from the polenta.
Pulled the color from the polenta.
Classic.
Is that good?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think you should outline. Did you outline in black? Yeah.
No, but I can do that. Yeah.
No,
I think
you
it
can,
just
yeah.
looks sharper.
Yeah, and then I can also even make it like a little. I made it thicker, so it's
Yeah, this is great.
I could make
Peter Maffey lurking in the back.
I could make that a little less creepy. Like
No, it's perfect.
No, leave it.
Every time you have a shot, he's thinking about you.
Oh my god, yeah. I can.
This looks really funny.
This is it's really funny. Yeah, I don't know. I could like.
Should I like be screenshotting a copy of this for myself?
We'll post it on Instagram this week.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, you should post it on your club though. Like you don't.
The club needs to see this. The club needs it. We'll give you a copy.
You really, I am purely the vehicle for your imagination. Like you made this. Like you know.
We really need to have then I think we should have a brass band that is a Saxon brass band.
Okay, let's see.
I know that
I'm with you. They're gonna say something. They're gonna be like, okay, that's
yeah,
totally
I know
fair.
what you
That's
mean.
not a Saxon band. So just
let's see.
Hang on, because I can get one.
Perfect. Yeah.
Hang on.
You can send it to me on Discord too, and I can put it on there also.
Okay.
This is so funny.
grab like the first. I'm
The
literally just
Dinosaurus
grabbing the
kid says,
first
"Leave it. It
Saxon.
looks good." You, don't worry. I can. We'll see. We'll see. Thank you for
What-
your first time chat.
What are we
We'll
leaving?
see.
I'm
Oh,
not
no,
100%
just
sure.
somebody-
I think Peter.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I think we
Oh,
should.
maybe. Oh, maybe it was Peter. Okay.
This
Love-
is just like literally the first
Okay.
Saxon band that I found, so
Love
I
it.
think we'll just go with that.
Yeah.
I don't know who they are. I don't know where they're from.
Okay. Perf. Got it. Okay. Yeah, I can do the same thing here, where I can like get rid of the background.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and we. Oh boy.
Oh boy.
My beautiful design. Okay.
My
Then-
grand
We
design.
can do like, oh my god, this is so cute. Okay, but actually, for real.
Put it, yeah, tilt him the other.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
what I'm
yeah,
thinking, like this, or even just like that is still this.
But make sure that you
Uh,
can read the word Transylvanian.
Yeah, I'll scoot this
Yeah.
down,
What
or
a time
I
to be
can't-
alive.
I can like. I know. Check this out.
This is not what they did in the old country, for the record.
I'm like so picky. I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna make this cool for you. Okay, let me make it cool for you.
I appreciate it.
I love the that's different. That's cute too.
That's-
maybe I
Yeah, that has a
That's
story
so
behind
good.
it, but like we say it all the time now but what the story is like, so when I got married, we had the reception at the banquet hall, which is inside of our club,
Yeah.
Of course.
Uh-huh.
of course. Yeah. And
You got to. Yeah.
and I like originally didn't want to have my wedding there because like I
Uh-huh.
grew up there and it was like not necessary, like it's a special place, of course, but it wasn't like a different place
Yeah.
for like a wedding. And then my brother was like, well, what if you just change the orientation of the room? And I was like, you can't just change the orientation of the room. And basically what we ended up doing was like, there's always like for events, the head table was always situated at like one part of the banquet hall. And so we just put it on the opposite end of the banquet hall and like we turned the banquet hall around basically to make the room feel like a different space. And I wasn't there and I'm so devastated to this day that I missed like witnessing this happen. But my brother and like some of our friends were setting up the chairs for the reception, and one of the ladies in the kitchen, and so like we had like our food was like made by these like older women of our community that would cook in the kitchen all the time, so they came out to see like how the people were setting up the tables, and like someone was like, oh, you put the head table at the back, that's different. But
Oh my
like with
God.
the like thick like
I-
Saxon German
Yeah.
accent, and like now just like every little thing is like if we want to suggest doing something like slightly differently or like changing something, we're like that's different.
Damn. Dynamism in action.
Yes.
That's different. I love that.
Yeah.
I think this is it, unless you
This
like
is
have a
beautiful.
very like niche or specific thing. If you want me to rotate something, like I can do any of that. If you
I think
want.
this is a winner, Days.
I think it looks pretty
Yeah. Yeah. I got
good. I especially do
notes.
love your like shirt contribution. I
Oh,
think
thank
it's cute.
yeah.
Okay, yeah, have people wear it. Okay, look at how cute that is.
I still think this corner of the
It's
image.
iconic.
it's
That's cool.
it's pretty good.
It really is. Wow.
Well, I guess this formally takes us to the end of the interview.
No way
Thank
we're
you
gonna top
for-
that.
Yeah, no, we're gonna top that. So thank you for spending some time with us tonight and making this image. I'm gonna send it to you, obviously, like immediately.
Thank you.
I'll just DM it to you like right now. But
That's great.
in general, again, like thank you for spending time with us and being on the show. Co-op playing Pokemon Violet, that was really fun to figure out. Because we've never done that before. You were a guinea pig through the tech part of this too, which was really fun. And some of your answers were just like making me go like, damn, like that's right. Like that's I had never thought about a lot of stuff that we talked about. So I really appreciate that. So thanks for being on Football
Thanks.
and
Thanks
chat.
for having me.
Yeah, I guess. Go
Before
ahead, Dom.
your interview is done, the last thing, chat, you got to do for Rebecca, of course.
Yeah.
And Rebecca, you can do this too now that you're a subscriber.
Yeah, now that you're a subscriber.
Is you got to drop ladders in chat for Rebecca. Thank you for coming out, having such a great
How do I
interview.
do
This
that?
was so much fun.
I don't know how to add ladders.
On the little like chat bar itself on the right hand side, there's a circle, like a little face. If you click that and you go to like our channel, we have exclusive emojis that you can get for our little emotes that you can get for subscribing to the channel, and somebody gave you a subscription, so you have access to them.
Oh wow.
So you can use any of them. But we like to
Thank you.
too.
Just
We like to
chat
put little
about it.
ladders, and we kind of make like a giant ladder together and sort of like cheering for you. So if you don't
Okay,
have ladders,
thank
you're
you.
welcome to use a Hardy GG's also. That is always
Oh.
accepted. That's a good game folklore.
Yes.
Yep.
Anyway.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, as I said to you, I never get to watch live because I'm usually at dance.
Yeah, you
practice
usually
on
dance
Yeah.
practice. So now you got to play
um,
with us live.
yeah,
It was
So
really fun.
exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also hello to
yeah.
everyone who watched
Yeah.
this on YouTube and is still here at the end.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm cutting it.
Cut. Cool.